Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the RAP Tour podcast. I am your host and tour guide, Tim. Man, we're back. This is crazy. So we're in the middle of the season. We're here to talk about that. I can't do that by myself. So we've got some people here. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see somebody new is here. But we'll get to them momentarily. So I'm just going to go around my screen. So Ash, you're our first. So what's going on, buddy? How you been? How's it going? How's life?
I'm doing good. Enjoying the event. I think you undersold it a little bit, saying we're halfway through the event. We've got 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
we have 2 weeks left. I think it was good to let everybody enjoy it before we gave our thoughts, and we're here now anyway.
Yes, we are. Liz, how we doing?
Well, I'm in my second cold of Horror Night season, so I've been inhaling enough fog, I suppose. But other than that, I can't believe
Liz has got the Tim disease this year.
I know. I got the bad luck
sick too much too. So,
and I've had wet feet too. So it's just been a Tim season.
Watching that video still just gives me nightmares of how bad that weather was.
Oh, it was rough.
Oh my God! And then finally, we have somebody new with us, but he's not really new. He's been around with us for quite some time, honestly, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff for a while. But he is our social media guy. So, Brady, welcome to the podcast.
Official title, social media guy.
Social media guy.
Official Gen Z hire.
I love it. It's great.
Keeping us young,
Yes, yeah. But thank you for doing all the hard work during the season, since you have been going so many times. So
that's true.
It is true. So, so we're here to talk about the event this year. Like Ash said, there's only a couple of weeks left, which is crazy. And then we'll get ready for spec season and all that kind of fun stuff to come.
Oh my!
Yeah, and we could. Yeah, never mind. I was going to talk about something I saw on Twitter, but you know what? We're not going to talk about that. Bye. Anyway, so let's talk about the event as a whole. So, just real general question to all you guys. How do you feel about this year's event? Just overall feelings, vibe, what's going through your mind? So, Brady, I'm going to go to you first. So, social media guy, what are you thinking this year?
Throwing it to me first. Unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
I'm having a great time. I think I speak for all of us just as a general idea because we've talked about it. I think comparatively to the last couple of years, this year is such a huge improvement. I think, obviously, I think collectively I think each of us have at least been going at a minimum of like 8, 9, 10 years. So out of that, pretty good. Would probably put it in the top half of events, but especially compared to the last couple, it feels like such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, fair. I like that. Liz, what about you?
Yeah, I think especially at the very beginning of this year, we were all so hyped because it was just such a huge improvement from last year. Last year was so all over the place. And although we had some standout houses last year, the event as a whole just was so jumbled. And this year it felt like, oh my gosh, there's cohesion, there's theme, everything's coming together, solid houses, solid zones. I know Ash, I'm sure, is going to talk about his favorite show that has ever existed. And it feels good. It feels like the heart of the event is back where it needs to be.
Awesome. Love it. Ash, going to throw it over to you. How you feeling?
Yeah, just to echo what these two have said, it feels right this year. It feels like we're back on track to getting back to where we used to be. I think last year was so poor, and I don't think I'm exaggerating there. It was such a really poor year that when the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh my God, this is like night and day compared to last year. And then I was thinking to myself, am I being reactionary? Is this year really good? And as I kind of sat down and thought, yeah, I'm really having a good time this year. I usually get burnout, me, towards the start of October, just because we go so much in September. I'm usually burnt out at that point. I'm so bummed the event's finishing. I'm usually ready for Christmas at this point. I'm usually ready for Grinchmas, but I'm so bummed for multiple reasons. Just the hangs, the show, I'm sure we'll go over. And yeah, it's just been a fun time this year. I've really enjoyed it.
I just want you all to know those are straight facts about the Christmas thing with Ash, because usually by now he is just blowing up our chats with whatever Christmas stuff that he can start with. So that is a good sign. But you bring up a good point, though, Ash. Before I get to my thoughts, is I actually was going to ask you guys, do you think this year is that good because the last year or two or so have not been up to par? So do you think it's really that good of an event? So keep that in mind. We're gonna get to that in a minute. I'm just gonna jump on the bandwagon with you guys. This really is a fun year this year. I love everything that's going on. I want to talk about Stay and Scream. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I feel like that was such a major improvement this year. The cohesion, the stories, everything seems to just has fallen in line this year, which is great. You know, it feels like when me and Brady first started going. That's how it felt. Like it feels good to be there. But now with that being said, that question that I just asked, is it really that good this year because we're comparing it to the last few years where things were maybe a little off here and there, whether it's houses, zones, whatever, cohesion. So what do you guys think about that? And Ash, I'll throw it to you first for that.
Yeah, no, it's such a good point to bring up because, like I mentioned, is it like reactionary while we're also hyped about this year? I don't think it is. I think it's just a strong year in general. I've vocalized this in our chat, and I'm not being disrespectful in any way. I don't think there's a real all-timer this year, in my opinion, but there are a lot of really strong houses. And I think just going back to the last 3 years, I think 31 and 33 were very poor in terms of a year. I thought the houses at 32 were actually really good as a whole. But no, I don't think it's an overreaction. I think this year is solid. There's a lot of good houses this year. So that's my take.
Nice. I like that. Liz, what about you?
Yeah, I think as time has moved on this season, I do think it's dropped a little bit down on my initial hype that I had for it, where I don't think it's going to top, say, 2018 or 2019 for me. I think it's dropped below those, but it's a very solid year for the modern era of Horror Nights, and I think it will go down as a favorite year. I think the houses are strong, the streets are strong. It's just like Ash said, there's not something that's just so amazing that I think it's going to rocket it above some of my favorite years. But I think when we look back on it, it will be, that was a good year.
Very good. Fair. All right, Brady, what are you thinking?
Yeah, there's nothing really that I need to say that anyone else hasn't said. I think we've made the comparison a couple of times in the chat, and we also agreed that this episode we're not going to spoil the end of the season wrap-up about houses. So a lot of that talk about houses is going to be pretty generic. We'll get into shows and food and whatnot, but I think the big comparison and kind of metaphor we have this year is like where there are some years where we all have like 8 B-plus houses, one standout, and maybe a slight stinker. This year seemingly is like all 10 B-, B+ houses across the board. Everything is equally as good. There's not that real standout, but it's kind of a good price to pay because we have such a well-rounded event.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm with all you guys. I feel like this year, just everything overall is solid. I also agree with Liz. I think the hype for me as well has gone down just a little bit. Nothing crazy. But this is a very, very good year. I agree. I think people are going to remember this, as a very, very good year for HHN. Houses are strong. Zones are strong. Shows are strong. Food's pretty decent. Stay and Scream got improved. Oh, Liz, the only thing that I can think of, yeah, you know where I'm going, right?
I know where you're going.
Yeah. Usually we are talking about Dead Coconut Club like all through the season, and I just don't think it hit this year.
I think we can get into it. I don't know if you want to get into it quite yet, but I would agree that, again, it's one of those things where it's not going to top the previous years, but it's fine. It's solid.
That's fair. I like that. I'm with you. I agree. What about you guys, Brady and Ash, about Dead Coconut this year?
On Brady, take it.
Yeah, I think we've just had so many like unbelievably well-themed versions of Dead Coconut. Like, I mean, it's no exaggeration that last season and some of the other years, we all met there, probably spent the first hour and a half of our night there before even going to Horror Nights. Now, with that being said, I really like the dance routine this year, but I think the overall, what theme they went with and maybe the execution of the theming is not my favorite compared to other years. But I think the entertainment this year stands right with the rest of it.
Awesome. All right, Ash, what about you?
Yeah, same. I think Brady said it well. It's not a slight on the entertainers, performers, because they do a real good job of keeping you entertained. I thought the dance routine was good. But again, it's coming off that year last year that was just so good. And not only that, the soundtrack that they used was just right up my street. 70s, 80s pop was just amazing for me. So I felt like it was always going to have a drop off. But I think, the theme just didn't hit that well for me. And we haven't spent too much time this year. Well, Liz has. But I haven't spent too much time personally in there. Just because we're going to get to it, Tim, because the staying screen's just been so smooth this year that I'd prefer to be in there than maybe Coven,
That's fair.
I do want to say a little bit more about Coven.
Yeah, go for it,
before
Liz.
we go off,
Yeah.
since it is my soapbox.
I've got work tomorrow though, Liz, so
Well, we'll give you plenty of time for Nightmare Fuel, don't you worry. Yeah, so I think, like you said, I think the dancers are great. I do miss from last year, I felt like the dancers were also actors, so we got more personal interactions, and they do try. I don't want to say that they're just there to dance. They do try to interact. It's just not the same level as last year. So I do miss that. And like you said, the soundtrack, just last year was perfection. We knew it was going to be tough to top that. I mean, I think the 80s decade is just one of those unique ones where all ages still love 80s music. And this year is a little harder to find a genre, an area that everyone is going to enjoy. So I still think it's very well themed. There's a lot of detail in there if you take the time. There's Easter eggs. I appreciate it. But yeah, it just was not going to top last year.
Agreed.
Let's not
Liz,
act like Ash isn't singing along as much as any other year, though.
Oh, yeah.
It still is
100%.
girly pops.
the music's the music's still great. It's pop music, and I mean everybody likes pop music, right? There's always like toe tappers that are playing, so yeah, the soundtrack's still good.
I mean, Liz, I still play your playlist from last year like all the time still because it's just
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
such
so
a good-
good.
it's so
It's
good.
Doing the
good.
Lord's work, doing that.
And
Yeah.
I did make a playlist for this year. So if you guys
Oh,
search
sweet.
on
Awesome.
Spotify,
Yes.
there
Yeah.
is a Coven by Disco Liz Spotify playlist.
Love it. All right, so we mentioned Stay and Scream. So let's just jump into that. We'll kind of take this before we get into like just stuff. And, man, for me, because I've done Stay and Scream a few times already this year, I love this change. So instead of being stuck in just a pen of people out in the blazing sun, I can now walk around the entire park and do whatever I want. If I want to go hang out on a bench, if I want to go and hit whatever house I want to hit during Stay and Scream, that's like one of the first ones that are open, I can go into that pen. But it's not even a pen. You're actually going into the line, like the queue for the house. I really thought they executed pretty smoothly. I was worried the first night that I did Stay and Scream because I didn't know what to expect. But, I was able to get in. And honestly, it did not take long at all to get a bracelet because there's a few different locations where you can go to. Super, super easy. And then literally once you got your bracelet, it just felt more relaxed and just easygoing to get around the park and just hang out. Ash, I met you in Louis, and we were just like, what do you want to do? Let's just walk around. And, that's what we did, and then headed toward the back of the park. So, has everybody done Stay and Scream here? Brady, have you done a Stay and Scream yet? You have. Okay. I didn't know if you have.
Yep.
So let's talk about it. So, what are your thoughts about the Stay and Scream this year? Brady, we'll go to you. We'll go around that way this time.
Yeah, I love Stay and Scream this year. It's better in almost every single way. You're not confined to an area. If you want to hang out in, a random bench somewhere that you're normally not allowed to sit at, you can choose that bench this year. Or if you want to do what I did on opening night, mind you, which is a hilarious waste of time, and just walk the park and not get in a line because you're testing it out, you can absolutely just roam free. It's great. The only logistical negative I can think of is that and I did overhear it on opening night from security, is that I imagine the sweeping process is a lot more difficult on the employees at Universal, but for us as the Horror Nights consumer, it is fantastic, and I truly hope that they keep this. Also, just putting a little note in here for after, maybe segue into the change of house layouts. Kind of related.
That's fine. We'll do that next then. All right, Liz, what about Stay and Scream for you?
Yeah, so I had not done Stay and Scream a single time last year. The previous year I'd done Stay and Scream once and wondered why I'd done that to myself. So it'd been a while since I had even attempted Stay and Scream because it had just gotten so miserable. And then this year with the changes, I was like, okay, I want to do it at least once. And wristband process, so easy. My friends and I, we just decided to go sit in Simpsons, sit in the AC. Maybe we're creatures of habit, but it was so easy because then by 5:30, you just roam out whenever you want to leave. We went and did the back houses, ran through houses, had so much done so quickly. And it's just such a more leisurely process. And because everyone can spread out, you could easily sit at Simpsons, chill in the AC. You're not crowded with people. Not everyone's fighting for the same spots. It was just very relaxing. And so I've done it more than once. And it's been a really nice way to get a bunch of houses done and then just have food, relax in scare zones, whatever you want to do.
And I'm just going to add to that just real quick. I love the fact that the food was already open.
Yeah.
For Stay and Scream.
Yeah.
Great. I don't understand. Like, they should have been doing this years and years and years ago, like when we started getting big with the food stuff. I love the fact that I was able to go grab a big mozzarella stick, Death by Cheese or what, Death by Cheese stick or whatever the hell it's called. And I literally, like, it was a quarter of the line that it normally is every night that I've seen it because everybody wants that big mozzarella stick. Yep. So for them to have like the food and drink booths open, awesome. Sorry.
Yep.
Just
it's
wanted
genius.
to add that. Yeah, exactly.
It's so much better. And I do think for park experience that they'll keep it again next year.
I do too.
I just think it's so much easier for them than crowding everyone in those pens and dealing with everyone being so upset.
For sure. All right, Ash, what are you thinking about Stay and Scream?
Yeah, just a massive win all round. There isn't any Halloween Horror Night goer who doesn't think this way is worse than the old way. Surely, if they do, I'd love to know the reasoning behind it. But massive win. The wristband process, a couple of you have mentioned it already. So it takes about 90 seconds to get a wristband. It's so quick. You can go wherever you want. You can chill. You can get in line for food. You can get in line for a house if you like. Just a massive win all round. I don't need to add any more. You guys have covered it, but yeah.
Good thing. Yeah. I don't see this going away now. I have to imagine that like all of the feedback and just them watching has probably been so positive. So Brady kind of mentioned it. So we'll talk about like house layout this year because it was very different, especially in the front end of the park. The back of the park was pretty much the same. So we'll talk about the back of the park. It's just real easy. You know, the two houses, Gulkin and Fallout, you take the long path, you know, along the side of Ash's favorite show, Nightmare Fuel, and walk in the back. What they did is they added some tents back there, so there is covering, which was nice, especially if it was raining a couple times where me and Ash got caught.
As long as you weren't ready to go in the house and then you're out.
Right, exactly. So at least there was some covering because obviously they didn't have to put those up and you could have just been soaked anyway. So that was nice. Pretty much the same though.
Everything else is the same.
Yeah, Jason House over in Fast and Furious, Hatches and Chains and Dolls, you know, for the other two tents where usually you're going in anyway. So basically the front. So when you walk in, well, there's actually two ways to get to where we're talking. So it's kind of like a hub, and it's a hub of 4 houses, right? Terrifier.
5 houses.
Yeah, well, we have to come back to the hub to get into Artista line, so technically 4.
All right, so 4 in the back, but yeah. Okay, so it's Terrifier, Grave of Flesh, Five Nights.
White Six,
sorry. So you could either go in right by Minions and make that left like you're going towards well, it's not there anymore. Like completely gone now. So, the roller coaster that is now gone. But you could go that way and go around, the sound stages back that way.
The old Nickelodeon studios.
Yep. Or you could go up towards Jimmy Fallon and go in that way. So there's a couple entrances to get in, really nice. And once you got back there, the four houses are pretty close to each other in relativity. The only one, like Ash was talking about, I think was the Wyatt 6. That's the only one that when you get out, you have to go around again. But it's not like a huge deal, though, because literally you're just walking around the building to get back into the hub area. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I hope they keep this. I think this was very, very good. The only issue I ever saw was Five Nights and the crowds that were going like out of the sound stage, to get in. That was the only issue I think I really ever saw, like crowd wise, like in the hub area. Okay, Liz has got something. Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, the first couple weeks, I want to say that area of Terrifier exiting into Grave of Flesh's entrance, where they were also selling ponchos, where then at one point they put a beer cart. That was absolute chaos. It has settled down some over time. They stopped selling the ponchos. They got rid of the beer cart. They moved that into line. They moved the Grave of Flesh entrance a little bit further down, instead of being directly across from the Terrifier exit. But it's the first time. They had to learn these things once the crowds came in and they saw how everyone behaved. So it's fixed. That area is still a little chaotic for me, but overall, it is a whole lot less walking. I think as an average this year, I've only done about 6 miles a night without, if I'm not zigzagging around, about 6 miles, whereas previous years, it was easy to do 10. So it has cut down some of the walking.
Very true. Anything else you want to add from the hub back there while we got you, Liz?
No, I don't think so. It is kind of, if you do Wyatt 6 or Five Nights at Freddy's, it is kind of a pain to have to exit and go all the way back around the building to do so. But I think it's worked out really well. And once you're back there, unless you're in front of that Terrifier Grave of Flesh area, it is plenty of space for people to move around, to walk. So it doesn't feel as crowded. And I do think because so many people are back there, it gets the streets a little less crazy too.
Agreed. Brady, your thoughts on the house placements back there now, or the hub area?
Yeah, Liz just hit something that I was going to bring up. This year, like the streets, I don't want to say have felt empty. We've all been to Horror Nights enough. It's busy all the time. We know that. But I do think that there's this sort of weirdness because 4 houses are in the same place, whereas before last year, they started the 2 in the back in the same place. That didn't really change much. But before, all those front ones, you had to go in, come out onto the street to go into the next one. And so that builds some traffic, where this year, it feels like, okay, there is a, 40, let's use the 10 houses as the stat here. There's 40% of the people are in this one area. So that clears things up in a nice way, truthfully. One thing I wanted to note too, if this, similar to Stay and Scream, we get these 2 changes to roll into next year, this one's only going to get better, because my one complaint is if you're using the Fallon path to the back houses, because of the construction right now, it is, you're shoulder to shoulder. It's miserable. But that's going to go away. That's going to be a not problem next year.
Well, but True. They're going to be building a different roller coaster, so will it go away?
Okay, true. So it might not be deconstruction next year. It might be construction. But yeah, overall positive. It was one of those things that grew on me, because at first I didn't like the idea that, okay, let's say I want to hit one of these 4 real quick on the way out. I'm making a massive commitment to go to the back where all 4 are. But as the season's gone on, I like the new system. And it works for probably 80% of people that are going to do all 4 of them there anyways.
Nice. Yeah, agreed. Ash, what about you?
Yeah, similar to what Brady said, it almost forces you to do multiple houses back there at once when you go. I'm not too concerned about the footfall back there. I don't even mind it between Terrifier and Grave of Flesh, that area. Yes, it has its moments, of course. But it's always busy when you come out of those houses anyway in prior years. That I think the this back area is better. I think the hub is a good word, Tim, so you don't have to come back to the hub all the time. It's probably smart to start with Artista, and end up there and then do the 4. But I like it. I can't see them diverting back to the prior method, how they did it, because it's just so efficient. But you know what I do miss, and if somebody else wants to talk about it, you can, is Rip Ride Rocket above my head. It's awful roller coaster, but the screams and the flashing lights and it just whipping past my head just feels like Horror Nights.
The
and
fear of something dropping on you when you're underneath.
Yeah, yeah, right. And it just kind of feels like something's missing back there because it was always like chaos above your head. So I kind of miss it a little bit. It's part of the skyline, but hey ho.
That's fair. I get that.
I did want to say, I don't want it to come off to like ridiculing little things, but at the end of the day, we do have a podcast about one specific event, so we're always going to get into the nitty gritty. It's never going to be avoidable. This is a minor complaint, but I was talking about it with one of our buddies, Paul, and I think Ash maybe one night. The only thing weird in the hub is when you get back there, it feels very excluded from the event. There's no park-wide loop, which I think would be such a huge change, but also such an easy one. As soon as you get back there, you lose the sort of like, I'm at Horror Nights ambiance. It feels like you're backstage. And I think that's a real easy fix. Maybe you put one food booth where those bathrooms are in between the sound stages, and then maybe just have the park-wide loop going on back there.
Just a bit of ambiance.
This is a very nuanced complaint, and it's not even a complaint.
That's a great thing. That big area by Five Nights and Freddy's, they could easily put a food booth there. And they have speakers like that when you're walking back to the back tents, to the new tents. So they thought about it back there. They did that. Yeah.
Yes.
So they should absolutely do it for that front area too. It's a great point.
Oh yeah, agreed. Love it. All right. Have we all talked about the hub? We have, right? We're all good. I kind of not like trying to like leave like the zones and houses till last. So let's talk about food.
Yeah, let's talk about food.
Yeah, let's talk about food. Brady's like, yes. So we've all tried stuff. We've been together, have tried some stuff together. I have some favorites. I'm sure these guys have some favorites. I mean, I don't think off the top of my head that anything has been like god awful. But maybe you guys have tried. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you guys have tried some stuff that maybe was god awful. So I'm gonna pass it to Brady because I'm pretty sure I know what he wants to talk about food wise. Because I'm pretty sure he's probably eaten it probably every night is my guess. But I'll let him talk about it. So Brady, tell everybody about your favorite food this year.
There are a few highlights this year, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm very curious to know what Liz thinks is god awful. So we'll get there, but. I think I speak for the group here that as a whole, I would vouch for the whole booth, not just the item. The Fallout food booth this year is fantastic. It's simply great.
Yes.
The mocktails are a little sickening and sweet, but they're okay. The fried pickles, buffalo chicken dip, I know everyone loves it. Haven't had that yet.
10 out of 10.
I'm not talking about the big one right now, but what's the third food that I'm missing?
You're missing the eggs.
The eggs.
Yeah, the deviled eggs.
So weird.
So good.
The consistency is so strange to bite into an egg that's not an egg, but it's great. And then, of course,
Here comes
the cram tots. Some chili glazed Spam sliced up with glorified Burger King cheesy tots. It's amazing. But I've probably gotten it like 90% of the nights that I'm there. It's an item to get.
That's fair. Yeah. Let's see. Let me talk about me and Brady. I think I don't remember when we had it, but we had over by what is where they do the RIP? Why can never think of that name?
Over by La Bamba.
Cafe La Bamba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before you get to Cat Lady.
Yeah, that little booth there on the side. We had those bread. I don't even want to I don't know what I want to call them, but Brady had one that was so it's a slice of like Italian bread or so, and it had sauce or tomatoes and cheese on top of it. He basically described it as like this is a piece of pizza, but it's just uncooked, right?
Yeah, it was like a pre-oven glorified pizza. It was
like a baguette.
I want to say
a warm baguette.
Yeah, a baguette. Yeah, that's what I don't want to work.
It's like a warm slice of bread that's toasted, and then like tomato paste, and then they like grate the cheese in front of you per individual item, which I thought was nice. A lot of that stuff sits there and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then what'd you get? You got a similar bread with shrimp on it, right?
Correct. That's the one I wanted to talk about. The garlic shrimp on this baguette was absolutely fantastic. Like the shrimp was just so good. I think it was a little pricey for what it was, if I'm not mistaken, but still absolutely delicious. And the only one other thing that I need to talk about, like food drink wise, is at the Wyatt Six, the Firefly house. There is the fried carrot cake.
Yes.
This
So
is a
good.
fried carrot cake house.
Like,
Yes.
mind blown. This was probably one of the best dessert items they have put out.
The three of us in this chat, three of us did. 3 out of the 4 tried it together.
Yeah, that's right. I basically went over, grabbed it, and I was like, let's just cut it up and let's everybody try it. And
So good.
I think everybody that was with us was like, yeah, this is really, really good. Like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Please, like, I'll bring it back because it's
Yeah.
absolutely delicious.
Also worth noting, because you talked about it with the Artista booth, this one is so well priced, and it's a massive piece of carrot cake.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah.
This one is definitely the best bang for a buck because it is such a huge piece. Like, honestly, 6 of us ate it, and I probably only would have eaten maybe another slice or 2 out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that that portion definitely feeds 2, maybe 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, solidly. So
I think that there's one more like big highlight for sure that Ash would agree on, and he hasn't talked yet. So I
Yeah,
think
we'll-
Ash would agree what the next highlight is, and then maybe we can hear about what's not good.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say I was gonna put my not so good, but we'll do that all together. All right, Ash, what's the best thing there this year?
Well, so I was fortunate enough to represent us at media, so I had a little crash course too with the food. Well, I was getting just everything and trying bits of everything. The best food is definitely the cram tots, the Death by cheese stick, and what I've not tried since media night is the spiral sausage from the Jason booth, and that is so good. But yeah, I said they're my top 3.
I have another one we haven't mentioned.
Ooh, what?
So my absolute favorite item this year was the pickle bucket chicken, the fried pickles with the buffalo chicken. But the other really shocking one was the spaghetti pizza.
Forgot about that. I haven't
Weirdly
tried that.
good.
Yeah,
It
these guys
is-
had it.
Shockingly good. Because I
Yes.
think, I don't know what I envisioned, but it's more like a garlic. I mean, it's pizza, but they put like a garlic sauce on it and then they bake the spaghetti on it. So the spaghetti gets like a little crispy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Shockingly good.
yeah.
That's true.
Me and Brady
So that's
shared
on
one.
my-
That's
yes,
true.
It's massive.
Yeah, I
So
still need
that's
to
on
try.
my plus.
I need to try that still. That's one of the ones I still need to
Highly
eat, so,
recommend that.
Yeah.
And it's a giant portion. But the only thing that I tried this year that was absolutely terrible was the slop from the Wyatt Six. That sloppy Joe.
The sloppy Joe.
Okay.
I tried it on media night. I wasn't a fan either.
The chocolate bread, whatever that meat mixture is. The only thing good on it was the bacon.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Liz,
All right,
I
then.
feel like we need to ask you as our residential expert, what do we think about the PB&J change this year?
It's not the same.
For those wondering, it's not hot honey anymore. It's like a
That's the
spicy
problem.
maple
It's
syrup.
syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, the maple syrup just highlights the grease factor that the hot
That is
honey,
like one thing that I've heard this year is
hit
that
it.
everyone said they're super greasy this year.
I don't know if they're doing it slightly different or it's just the maple syrup makes it feel greasier, but the hot honey was like the perfect. I do have a second terrible item that I almost blocked from my memory.
I have one.
And that is the corn dog that's not a corn dog from the same booth that has the mozzarella stick.
All right.
Oh,
It's a
I've not
dough
tried
dog.
that yet. I think
Don't.
No.
Oh, okay, we won't.
I would never go to that booth and get anything other than my
Exactly.
Death
Get the
by
cheese stick.
goat stick.
It's
just so good.
I don't even know how to describe the dough because it's not like a pancake batter. It's not like a funnel cake batter. It's just a very soft, gooey, not crispy dough, and it's labeled as a corn dog. So highly disappointing. Don't get that one.
Yeah, I don't think I think me and Brady have one as well that we shared.
I was
which,
gonna say.
you can take it because it was not good.
Yeah, I haven't had anything this year, with the exception of one thing, that I've been like, ooh, that wasn't good. But me and Ash, same night that we shared we were on a little bit of a food voyage that night. We shared the spaghetti and meatball pizza, which, again, like we said, surprisingly good. Seemed like too much with one thing, but works well. The Eggs Benedict, like McDonald's biscuit thing that they had there was not good. I didn't taste any hollandaise sauce, and everything on it was cold when we got it, like freezing cold.
Yeah, it's like a
To me,
gas
that just
station
looks
sandwich
like-
almost.
Exactly. To me, it looks like a Jimmy Dean frozen sandwich. They just
Yeah.
Yeah, just sat under a heat
the
lamp.
Jimmy Dean might be better.
I really haven't tried anything that was like horrible this year, but I do have a complaint, and I think it's funny, and I hope they rectify it and they've seen this. You need to bring back the twisted taters because nobody's spending $10 to
Amen.
grab a
Bag of chips.
to basically grab a
Amen.
bag of chips.
We also limited so many
Yeah.
flavors too.
Yeah,
Like if you're gonna do them
exactly.
as chips, that's one thing.
Right.
But we lost like 3 flavors.
Yeah,
Right, and I
So
and I
true.
think it's funny that every night that you go and you see those two booths over by El Artista, and it's
Empty.
like nobody's there.
nobody's ever there.
Nobody's
Oh,
ever there.
one final one, which I'm not. I don't want to speak for both of us, Brady, but when we got pizza fries, not good.
Yeah, they were fine.
Not good. They tasted as well like they were under a heat lamp. They had no marinara sauce on it. And Brady, if you remember, I pulled out the biggest hair from it, and I'm not kidding.
Oh my
it was
God,
Like, the
what?
biggest
This
hair
is-
you've seen.
This is an isolated incident, but Ash did in fact pull a hair out where I proceeded to tell him that since becoming a barber it didn't bother me at all and that I would eat it.
Yeah, I just couldn't, so I went and returned it, and the subsequent pizza fries again did not have any marinara sauce on. So
That part I will agree with. They were kind of dry when we got them. It
Yeah.
could have used more sauce.
and that was
but-
early in the night too.
right. Like they made them in front of us. We watched them
Yeah.
come out of the little conveyor where they cook the cheese.
Yep. But anyway, no more negative from me on food.
All right, fine. Anybody else got any thoughts on food, drink, anything whatsoever?
that's-
There's only one drink I would like to talk about, and me and Ash had it the one night, was the PB&J
Oh yeah.
beer or sour or whatever you want to call it. It absolutely tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, it was so delicious. And I'm not usually like a crazy fan for sours, but this one was absolutely a slam dunk, right, Ash?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I could have had a second. But it was super enjoyable. Yeah.
Agreed. Liz, have you tried it?
No alcoholic drinks for me.
That's fair. Brady, I'm not even asking you because I know. All right. I mean, I think that's like basically all the other stuff. We'll talk about houses and zones, but like we said earlier, we're not going to get really too detailed or anything about this. We're going to try not to be giving spoilers, even though we are only 2 weeks out till the end. I'm sure a lot of you have probably been already. We'll try and do our best to not spoil things for people that maybe haven't gone. I don't know. That's up to you guys. What do you think?
I think we're
We're
there.
past it.
Yeah,
We're past
we're
it.
almost
We're
there.
there.
If
All right, that's
somebody's going to
If
spoil
you're
it,
waiting
then,
till Halloween,
you know.
I'm not bothered.
That's fair.
If they are, they're probably not listening to this podcast. Let's be
Right,
real.
right.
That's true. All right, let's do this grouping wise. Let's talk about the two new things, the two party experiences or street experiences that were added this year. So the first one, we had the basically the DJ over in San Francisco with the go-go dancers on their pedestals and whatnot. So this was the party zone. So what did you guys think about this?
Everyone at once.
Yeah. Not too much to say, to be honest. It is funny how it kind of feels like a nightclub sometimes. Like you have the people in the corner with the drink kind of brooding and watching the dances.
Right, yeah.
Kind of feels like a nightclub. But to be honest with you, I haven't really spent much time in it. I think it's just a way through to get to the next place. Sometimes I'll go on the curb again around it, the footpath around it sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess it's fun, but just not for me, really.
Agreed. I'm in the same boat with you. Like it's fine for whoever wants to just chill out, hang out, and listen to some music, and people watch or whatever. But I'd rather go do other things, and I honestly think the other street experience was more fun for me. But we'll get to that in a minute. Liz, what about you?
Yeah, I think if you time it well and you can catch art in there, then it's a really good time. I do think the DJ is pretty fun. I've followed him on social media, and he's having a good time with it. I think he's doing a pretty good job of playing songs that move people through, but also that people want to stay and listen to. So,
Yeah.
He's not the only DJ though.
okay, well, I follow one of the DJs.
Okay, no, I'm just saying because I've seen him almost every
Yeah.
night I've been there, except for one night, there was a girl up there DJing.
maybe he had a night
that was
off.
totally something
Yeah,
different.
probably a night off,
exactly.
thinking about
So,
Yeah. But yeah, I think it serves its purpose. If
Sure.
you're into that kind of thing, people are
Yep.
jamming, and I can just cruise through without getting stopped. So
Yeah.
it's a plus for me.
True. Brady, how about you?
Yeah, nothing to really add. I do think that this is going to sound like the most like, oh, we got the young social media guy comment I could possibly make. But I think we would all agree that like the way that we and probably 90% of people listening and 90% of the people we meet up with at Horror Nights experience and view the event as one thing. And I will say, as the young social media Gen Z guy, that this is probably great for a lot of people. Like Lizz said, they're whatever DJ's there, whatever night, great mix of music. I have seen a lot of like younger music where people seemingly are like, oh, this is awesome. Like we can just stop for a minute and vibe out and what have you. But I think this is one of those things that is ultimately not for any of us. However, there are people that are probably like, oh, this is fun. Let's get a drink, listen to some music before we head to the next thing.
Agreed.
And I've seen people having fun. It's funny because like I'm used to it being like a way to walk through. I mean, it's still a way to walk through. I'm not spending that much time there. But especially when it was a zone and a crowded zone at that, it was always a way through. You'll go through there this year, and in the smack dab of the walkway, people just like are sitting there and they're having their drink, enjoying it. And I'm like, why are you? And then I'm like, oh, this is more of a hangout, not a walkway.
Fair. Yeah.
So it's working
That's
for
true.
some people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other street experience is the roller skating zombie waiters and waitresses. I love
Official
this.
name.
I think this was a fantastic ad. They were all dressed up, and they were like the blue zombie faces, which I think is so cool. I love the fact that are all of them on roller skates? No,
No.
they're
Not
not.
all of
Right?
them,
Okay.
no.
I was just trying to think about that. But I love that they're out there and just roller skating up to people and trying to, give them, limbs of body parts and whatnot. So what do you guys think of it? Like, what do you guys think about this little area? Ash?
I like it. Nice addition. I mean, what else is going to be there? Nothing, right? So I like the little addition. What I do really love is the music. I like how they've kept that music theme around it too. So yeah, I'm more than happy with this one.
Awesome. All right, so we're just going to move on to generality of shows. So we have Ash's favorite show in the world that we'll get to in a second, and then
New favorite.
and then we have Ghoulish on the Lagoon show. I can't talk about that. I actually haven't watched the Lagoon show yet this year, so I will make sure that I get to watch that before the event ends. So what do you guys think? I'm going to leave Ash last, so we're going to go to Brady. Brady, what do you think about both the shows? Have you gone to see Nightmare Fuel?
I've done both.
Wow. Okay.
I've done both.
So,
I've done everything the event has to offer this year.
Awesome. My dude. All right, so talk about both the shows, just, general.
Yeah. I'll start with Nightmare Fuel. It's been there for what? This is the 5th year, something like that. I haven't
5th year.
seen it any year, and usually my excuse would be that it's not my thing, but if you really dive into it, that's not true because I loved Academy of Villains. So I'm down with a dance show. It's cool. I like the choreography. I think more than anything, with it being in the Fear Factor stage versus on the street or something, like the first couple of years of Academy of Villains, like, it's a massive commitment. You have to line up ahead of time. You have to go through the whole time that you're getting seated. And then you have to watch the 20, 30-minute show. And then you deal with that mass exit of which house are we going to go to that not all these people are going to. So that always kind of turned me off from it. But Ash has had a recent discovery of loving Nightmare Fuel, who I think I speak truthfully that this is also his first year going to Nightmare Fuel. Maybe. He might have gone another year. I can't remember. But this is certainly the most receptive he's been to it this year. And he was like, hey, come see it. You've never watched it. You got to. I went. I thought I knew exactly what I was going to get into based on the response of people. And it was way more than that. I thought it was a blast. The choreography's cool. The fire, there's a ton of pyro. And I think the highlight for me is the contortionist and the aerobatics part. Like, that stuff is super duper cool. People are flying in the air. This dude's looking full 180 behind his shoulder, which I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then as for Ghoulish, I think it's good. I'm very, very, very happy to have it back. I like having a water show. It's something that you can unlike Nightmare Fuel, you can kind of come and go as you please. You can catch it halfway through, walk through Central Park to get to the other side, and keep going. It's cool. It's great. It's a little all over the place for me thematically, though. It feels like it starts with the like old school radio, like turn the knobs on it, and then about halfway through it feels like it's like an 80s DJ, like tune into this station, and then at the end you somehow get back to like it sounds like you're turning the dials on an old stereo system. So it gets a little all over the place for me as far as like what each song and like segment in it are, but I think it's good to have the water show back.
Cool. Awesome. Liz, what about you? Have you done either?
I have done Hauntophonic, the water show, the lagoon show. I have not done Nightmare Fuel. I am still keeping my streak of never having seen it, much to Ash's dismay, which we'll come back to. Yeah, I think it's so good to have the lagoon show back. I mean, I've only stood and watched the whole thing once, but there's been plenty of times where I'm walking by, it's adding atmosphere. Even if you're all the way by the soundstage houses, when you look over, you see the fountains going, the lights going. I think it adds a lot of atmosphere to that whole lagoon area when you're walking around, even if you're not watching the show. I agree with Brady that I think in the scheme of lagoon shows we've had, not my favorite. I never got to see the original Ghoulish before the hurricane took it. But compared to the two original shows, I still prefer those. But I'm so glad to have it. I hope they keep doing it. I applaud the creativity. I think it's super fun, even with the current theme. And then we bring to Nightmare Fuel. And again, I think I would absolutely love it. I have no doubt. I have a dance background. I love choreography. I love shows. It's just the experience of getting in. It's the time investment. It's the waiting. It's the being in all those crowds that I just haven't pulled the trigger on going. And we'll see if Ash can convince me that final weekend or not.
All right, so
He's
I'll
gonna
jump
try.
in.
He's been trying.
All right, I'm going to jump in before we get to Ash's, 20-page essay on Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, if you think I love dead coconut, just wait.
Ash, you have to keep it short because I don't want to talk about that all night. I hope they keep the Lagoon show. I'm with you guys. I think this is such a great addition to the show. So, to the event rather. I'm with Liz. I think I would probably love this show too. It's music, it's pyro, it's dancing, it's all kinds of circus side acts. I hate to say it like that, but like Brady said, contortionists. I think there's people. Is people spitting fire? Are they doing that kind of thing? Any of that? I don't know. I haven't really seen the show.
Not spitting fire, but there's a lot of swinging things that are lit on fire and stuff.
I would love this show. I really would. And honestly, I'm with Liz. So Brady, how long would you say from lining up for the show, and then getting out? How much time do you think that actually? I don't know if you timed anything or looked at your watch or anything.
I bet you Ash knows the answer.
I know,
I'm sure,
but it's all relative though. If you want to get a good seat,
right?
You know?
I was gonna say I know the time, and there's a hilarious story there. Our plan for the 9:30 show when I went with Ash was to get in line at 8:50. It was 8:11, and we were in Diagon Alley, and I said to Ash, we're not going to be able to get a house done before this. So we took our Starbucks, and we got in line over an hour before the next showing, and we were the 5th people in line. So, that's an extreme case. But I think you could probably get a good seat as long as you're there, I don't know, 45 minutes before they kind of let you into the two corrals when you're in an actual line.
Okay, so 45 minutes beforehand. How long is the show? Half hour?
Ash, I don't know.
No,
20 minutes?
24 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
We'll say 24. We're going to say 25 seconds. Just around that. So now we're up to 70 minutes. How long did it take you guys to get out?
Surprisingly not long, to be fair.
Don't exaggerate.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Great. Yeah.
All right, so you're talking about anywhere between an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20 or so.
Sure.
Just to go watch this.
Yeah, depending on seating.
Correct. Right. If you showed up later and didn't care where you sat, then it's probably a lot shorter. But yeah, if you want to have a decent seat, which I would feel like most people would want to have a decent seat for that because there's just so much stuff going on.
So I said this to Ash while we were sitting waiting because it's been a couple of years, truthfully, since I've been inside the Fear Factor whatever stadium, amphitheater, whatever we're gonna call it, because of not seeing Fear Factor. And then obviously, like I was saying, the last few years I haven't watched Nightmare Fuel, so it's been a few years. When we were in there was a moment where I turned to Ash and kind of looked around. It's a lot smaller than I remember. I think you can see very well from pretty much anywhere in there. You know, granted, if you want to be towards the center, or there's like this little like stage that comes into where the seats are a little bit. If you want to be near that, sure, get in there early. But I think you could get there late, be seated in the back row, and have a good time.
Cool. All right, so I really regretting that I'm going to throw this over to Ash right now, because I feel like I should just go, eat some food, make a drink, come back for this later.
Got my beverage here. Just gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
By the end of the season, Ash is going to have like a 60-minute discourse episode on Nightmare Fuel.
It's just gonna be Nightmare Fuel. All right, Ash, try to keep this pretty short for now, until we get to the recap episode, or if we actually do a whole episode on just Nightmare Fuel for you. So
I don't think that'll happen, but
so talk about the shows.
Yeah, so can you imagine, right, before this event started, that the longest discussion will be about Nightmare Fuel, on our first episode of the season? Anyway, let's start with Ghoulish. I think Brady hit it. I think it's a one and done show for me. I love the aspect of, if you've seen American Graffiti with Wolfman Jack on the radio, and he's like sort of narrating the whole movie with the music. It kind of started that way, then sort of tapered off. So Ghoulish was a sort of one and done for me, but cool. I love like the traditional Halloween stuff, but Nightmare Fuel. I absolutely love the show. If you're gonna blame anybody, you can blame Ty and Nicole for this.
I knew you were gonna blame them.
They
Just
convinced
throw them right
me.
under the bus.
Yeah, Liz and Tim, both of those guys. Shout out to Ty and Nicole, who will be listening. Two of the most best humans I know on this
Ty
planet.
Nicole,
so
I apologize for Ash for throwing you guys under the bus.
Yeah, well,
but you probably but knowing them, they're probably cheering right now.
They're proud.
for sure.
They did him a favor.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Honestly, the energy in the amphitheater, I've been to Bill and Ted. I've seen Rocky Horror here. I've seen AOV here. There's nothing in terms of like energy and atmosphere in the amphitheater for this show that touches any of those shows. There's no way that can compete with this show for energy. The sort of cult following it has is insane. The amphitheater is rocking every night. And then for the show itself, the performers are super committed. Anytime you sort of mention them on like social media and post like a photo or a video, they're always super appreciative and they're always interacting with you. They are super talented. The soundtrack's amazing. I've been to a show, got right back in the line again and gone to the next show. I love it. But that's it. I'll save the rest of my thoughts for...
Who the hell are you?
Well, I mean, again, I didn't want to use it's a big time commitment as an excuse, because I waste so much time doing nothing at that event sometimes that just get in line and see the show, right?
That's fair.
But I love musicals. I like theatre. You know me, I'm a huge Rocky Horror Picture Show guy. I'll go and watch Shadowcasts all the time. So I knew I'd like the show, and it was a case of just ripping the Band-Aid off, just committing to it, and yeah, I'm like a man possessed now.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yep.
All right, so that's the shows and the street experiences. So we're just left with scare zones and houses. So we're not really going to spend a lot of time on this because we don't want to give away
No spoilers.
our hands, if you will, but we're just going to talk about general real quick. So scare zones this year. So every year I feel like the houses are strong and the scare zones suck, or the scare zones are pretty decent and the houses not so good. I feel like they got it right this year. I feel like houses and zones are all really decent. This isn't really going to give anything away. I don't think, I think Brady or Ash said it earlier. I don't think there really is a stinker of anything this year. I mean, I have my thoughts on some things, but we'll talk about with the wrap up episode. But I think overall, everything is working and it's working well. I think the zones are really good. I think the houses are solid. Keep this up. And next year is an anniversary year, so it's going to be even extra special next year. So with that said, I'm just going to throw it along. Brady, what do you think about just zones and houses overall this year?
Yeah, I said this kind of in the beginning about our general vibe of the year, kind of general takeaways. It goes for the scare zones too. I think, not to be a broken record, but you could look back at this year for zones and houses and be like, hey, we had 10 houses and 5 zones that were all on the same level of detail and how they were received. Like, I think truly, not to say well-rounded in the sense of like, this is an A+, this is the best, everything has all been together, not necessarily, but just as a whole, even if it's a B-, a B+, it's everything is well-rounded and suits each other very well. And I think Lizz was talking about it, and we didn't spend a ton of time on it, and I'm sure it'll come up again more at the wrap-up, but like, there's sort of a unidentifiable X factor of like the cohesion of the event mixed with the music loop versus how well the property here works with this property here, and if they're similar or if they kind of come from the same background. I think that is the biggest win this season, is we have a really cohesive event. I think there's something for everybody, which they're very good about doing that, especially with the IPs, but especially this year. I mean, like, I was going to say it about Nightmare Fuel, and I think I said it earlier about, I don't remember what, but Club Horror, about just bringing different backgrounds in. Five Nights at Freddy's this year might be responsible for 50% of the next generation of people that go to horror nights. And for me, starting at like 13, like, that speaks to me. Do I understand the Five Nights at Freddy's hype? Not necessarily. I don't get the game, other than that I remember in middle school people watched playthroughs of PewDiePie and Markiplier, and that was a big deal. However, I don't get it, and I don't have to. But every time I get to horror nights, that line is long. There's 20% of them are probably middle school, high schoolers who have probably never been before, and 10% of them have themed outfits to the different animatronics. So, like, whether it's not my thing, I think us having such a well-rounded event and the properties chosen, and Terrifier too, I'll say, brought a very specific Terrifier crowd. I think this year is responsible for some horror night introductions.
Nice. I love it. All right, Lizz, what about you for scare zones and houses, you know, just overall?
Yeah, well, I want to play off something Brady just said, because I think we know from the past that Stranger Things in 2018 kind of ushered in a new era of fans and brought in that teenage crowd that, you know, love them or hate them. It's been different ever since. And I think Brady's onto something where I think this is the next wave, where Five Nights at Freddy's and Terrifier for a slightly older crowd, I think those two massive IPs have brought in some new fans. And not to discount Wyatt Six as well, because that's WWE. Huge audience that may have never come to Horror Nights before that probably did. So I do think that as far as picking a well-rounded event, they really knocked it out of the park. And yeah, I think Brady echoed a lot of how I'm feeling. I think it's strong across the board. And we say no spoilers for our list, but I don't even have my list completed. So I really couldn't have spoiled it, because I think my zones are probably pretty sorted in my brain, but my houses, there's still potential. There's 2 more weekends. Things could still shift around. It's just that kind of year where, with everything being so level, there's always opportunity for things to change. So I'm curious to see what my list ends up being in 2 weeks.
Nice. All right, Ash, what about you for both zones and houses this year?
I can't believe you've got me following these two. That was so very well put, you two. Good summary for sure. Yeah, I know people listening, they might want some jeopardy in the way we're thinking, but I'm so aligned with the way you two are thinking. I think we had, to summarize what Brady said, I think there's something for everybody this year. In terms of the houses, the zones, the shows, there really is something for everybody. Since 28, I think there's been 3 real shifts of new people coming to Horror Nights. I would say the Stranger Things year. And then it was almost like the 30-31 where Disney was sort of about pricing people. People started coming to Universal more, just in general, and then picked up Horror Nights. And then there's this wave with the WWE Terrifier and Five Nights at Freddy's, you know, kind of cult classic followings and big followings at that. But yeah, there's just something for everybody this year. I'm loving the zones. I'm loving the houses. I don't think there's like an A+ house this year, but it's just a solid year all round, which makes for a very enjoyable event. So,
amen.
That's me, Tim.
Sir. Excellent. Cool. So we're going to just wrap it up now. And I think how I want to wrap this up with you guys is pick one or two things or areas where, I think mainly, well, no, I will include scare zones and houses, but just a highlight for you or two, not to like because I don't think this will blow anybody's hand on like where anything is going to get ranked later or whatever, but just give me like one or two things that were like, oh, hey, or whatever. So I'll start it. So basically, I want to say the second half of the Jason house, I love it. End of story. I'm not even going to say anything else about it. Fantastic. And then the only one other thing I want to mention is I was like hyped for the WWE house because I was just so intrigued on how this was going to play out. And I just want to say that the WWE house was an absolute, like, just pleasant surprise this year for me personally. And I think it helped when me and Ash did. Well, is our video still up? Has it been yanked down again? When we did the whole,
I think it's still up. I think it's still surviving. Yeah.
All right. So me and Ash, we did a history of the Wyatt Six and WWE to help people that didn't know anything about it, like myself. You know, so going into it, I was just like, all right, wrestling, and I get the correlation with wrestling and horror because I feel like most of them love it. And it makes sense because it's theatrics. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to, storytelling, theatrics, whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to mention those two. Second house of Jason and the WWE house was just such a pleasant surprise. All right, I'm gonna go to you first, Ash, since I don't want you to have to follow Brady and Lizz.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, those two are better than me. Two big highlights. I think changing my perspective throughout the season. Again, I don't want to give too much away. Brady may go over it because he has been a believer since day one. But like a house like Grave of Flesh, where opening weekend, I'm like, oh boy, that's probably holding up the rest of the houses right now on my list. And now it's catapulted just because of strong runs and the cast just going crazy in there. So highlight for me is probably that house. I don't think there's been a big jump from like me maybe not disliking, but being a bit low on a house and it rising so much. And I think another highlight would just be the broad kind of spectrum of IPs we have this year. You know, we have sort of a slasher who's on the Mount Rushmore of slashers. We have like Five Nights at Freddy's and Horrors of the Wyatt Six, where before the event, it's like, how are they going to turn that into a house? And then your sort of cult classic Terrifier. So I think they've done a good job on broadening the IP, so there's kind of something for everybody.
Awesome. All right, Brady, we're going to throw it to you. Give us a highlight or two for houses and zones for you this year.
Yeah, I quickly just wanted to say that it was a risky topic of like, a highlight of a house, but don't include a house. But you guys all did exactly what I had in my mind that whole time of like, you guys aren't necessarily saying what your number one is, but you're telling me a positive experience that maybe stands out, even if that positive experience that stands super out might not be your number one. Grave of Flesh, just because I have to echo something Ash said. Been a believer since day one. Loving it. That's gonna be a house highlight for me. I think when this topic that we're talking about right now of like highlights got brought up, I was like, how am I gonna talk about the zones and houses without doing it? And immediately some things that came to mind were like, oh, this specific scare in this house every night I go through is great. Or this or that. I think the end of Galkin is awesome. And I think the end of Grave of Flesh is awesome. I think those are big highlights. And also we were talking a lot about IPs before, and it got mentioned with like the diversity. Jason is like, I don't want to say a sleeper. He's obviously Jason. He's one of the biggest slashers. But like in the grand scheme of getting like something so sort of, how are they going to do that and out there as wrestling, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Terrifier, Jason kind of was just sitting in a like predictable like, oh, well, it's a slasher. But like Jason's not been at the event as much as people think he has when you actually look at it. And it's very cool to see that too. So I'm going to put that as another highlight of me being, less than 10 years at Horror Nights, getting to see Jason at the event.
Awesome.
As for zones, we kind of skipped through when we talked about the experience thing. I wanted to come back to Mel's as my highlight for zones. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've come up with that idea before, because I haven't. I've never thought of it either. But as soon as they did it, it felt like one of those things that was like, how have we never done this before? It is so on the nose and perfect to have like super campy sort of zombies versus realistic zombies in front of Mel's. It's perfect. So those are my highlights.
I love it. I love it. Agreed. All right, Liz, close us out. Give us a highlight or two.
Yeah, so I was actually going to touch on Mel's, so I'm going to just quickly echo what he just said there. I think this should have been a full-on scare zone because there's plenty of scare actors and they are working hard for their interactions. I have got a few times walking through there because I put my guard down, I forget, and they spread out. And so they have come for me a few times, and I want to applaud those actors because they are working hard. But I'm going to go with one of my most surprising highlights, and that is Terrifier. I really not expect to enjoy it as much as I have. And every time I walk through that house, that puts a smile on my face. I just have a blast going through that house every single time. So that was a big surprise for me. And I think I'm just going to, because it's me, and you guys know, I really love to highlight scare actors, and I have a reputation for like learning casts and knowing who to visit. I want to say a shout out to the Hatchet and Chains Skeleton Sheriff, because man, am I scared to go into that scene every single time. Because, and I think it's both casts. I don't think it's just one cast. I think it's both casts. But there's one particular one who every time I walk in that scene, I get nervous because I just know that even if I'm past him, he's going to come after me anyway. And I just love that particular scene. So that's a highlight for me.
Heck yeah. Well, that's it. That's all we're talking about tonight.
That was good. It was spoiler-free for our rankings.
Else,
I like it.
Pretty tame.
Else. Yeah. Nothing else until we get to the recap episode. So we hope you enjoyed this. We wanted to put something out there. It's been a hot minute since
we've been
put
a little
an
busy,
episode. Yeah. So we should make the social media guy do this.
We should.
But,
I was just thinking about how at the end someone usually has to spiel all that out, and I was thinking, I don't know.
I knew he was going to say that. So
I may be logged in and posting every night. I have no idea where you can find us. So
I
I'm
also
gonna
don't know.
I'm going to bring that to Ash.
correct. That's correct. It's all you, Ash.
Oh boy, I've not done this for a while. Let me just blow the cobwebs off. So at RIP Tour Podcast on Twitter and Instagram are our two main sources for regular posts. We also are YouTube, same handle, RIP Tour Podcast. TikTok, RIP Tour Podcast. What else we got? Come on, guys, help me out. Chip in.
Technically, Threads and Blue Sky.
Which we never use, but you know.
The thing is with Threads, I think if you post to Instagram, it automatically posts to Threads as well. Is that the thing?
I don't think it does.
I don't.
No,
think
I think
so.
it does.
I think
No,
if
it
you
does.
click yes, it does. Like
okay.
if you slide the thing that's like also share to Threads.
I think that is also checked all times because anytime I post, it says this has also been shared to Threads.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, there we go. Learn
Oh,
something.
good for you, Ash.
yeah, and actually, if you go to Twitter or X, there is a link tree there. So if you click on it, it'll take you anywhere you need to go. There you go.
I have something.
Yes.
So one of our lovely listeners was so kind to make us cool cat stickers. So we have the cool cat chaser button.
Oh yes.
And they made us some amazing cool cat stickers. So we have a ton of them.
Yes.
So please
Nice.
come find us in the fog the next 2 weekends. Right now, I'm the only one that has them. I'm hoping I'll see some more of the crew on Sunday and then definitely final weekend so I can pass them out. But please come find me in the fog.
Heck
and
yeah,
take
they're
some
really cool.
stickers and
so
buttons.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul for making those
Yes.
stickers for us.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Paul.
They're amazing. And I
Yeah.
want to make sure you guys get them in your hands because we have a ton.
I wanted to
Excellent.
add this without us going over time, especially considering we've started the wrap-up segment. I can't
Uh-huh,
believe
uh-huh.
we forgot it as far as new things and changes. Trading cards, Backlot Club, awesome edition.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Awesome edition. I feel like
Yes.
it needed its flowers, so we can move on.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna give one shout out before we get out of here. I would like to shout out all of they all get shout out. All the scare actors in the houses get shout out. But this is mainly for the arts that are out roaming the park. You guys are absolutely killing it. You guys are fantastic. I love seeing videos just scattered everywhere of people just getting different interactions with Art, and it's so cool. And honestly, please leave Art alone. Just let him be and do his thing so he doesn't just get bombarded. And I love Art on the trike. That's it.
Yep.
All right. So now we're really wrapping up this episode. Thank you for listening or watching if you're watching us on YouTube. We will be back very, very soon because, like Ash said, we only have a couple weeks left here in the event. So the wrap-up episode will come, and then we'll just get into regular stuff, during the off-season, and then we'll get back into spec season. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.